Welcome to Talent Experience Live, or as I like to say, the greatest show on the internet. You would be hard pressed to find a better show on across the entire internet, the World Wide Web, the www dot at 12 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. This is the place to be every week if you are a recruiter, a sourcer, a talent marketer, talent manager. If you're in talent, this is definitely the place to be. My name is Tom Tates. I'm the occasional host and co-conspirator of Talent Experience Live. I am super stoked to be here. Happy Thursday, everyone. If you're just joining us, we go live every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. So be sure to like, subscribe. We want to make sure that you get notified so that you never miss a beat. We love being here, but we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you also joining us. So thank you so much. Keep the chat lively today. TXL is proudly brought to you by the team here at Phenom. We are delivering intelligent talent experiences to over 500 amazing customers worldwide, and we absolutely love what we do. Our purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right job. I did not misspeak. It is a true billion. We are well on our way. Can't do it without our amazing customers, partners, community, you for joining us today. So thank you. And our intelligent talent experience platform, it ensures that candidates find and choose the right job faster. Employees develop their skills and evolve. And we'll be talking about this today on this episode. Recruiters become wildly productive and efficient. Managers build stronger performing teams, and HR leaders align employee development with actual data, right? And they build better teams with actual data. All of this is powered by super slick artificial intelligence in an easy to use platform. I would love for you to check it out. Head on over to phenom.com if you want to learn more, or if you want to get in touch with us. We always love geeking out over this and having conversations with like-minded talent leaders. So I do want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what you do. Talent Experience Live is a great opportunity to connect with each other, to get to know peers in the industry. So you can do that now. Always easy. Let me know who you are, where you're from. I'm here in Philadelphia-ish. Philadelphia-ish. I always say Philadelphia, but it's Philadelphia-ish. It is not always sunny here. It is kind of gloomy today, to be expected, for December 1st. Little cold, little chilly, but I'm here in the Philadelphia area. Let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And I want to say that we took a week off last week for Thanksgiving. But the reality was our team, we produced a 90-minute event on Tuesday of last week, Experience Phenom Talent Marketplace. In a minute, we'll drop a link in the chat here for Experience Phenom. This was a 90-minute event that really dove into how technology is enabling companies to really rethink and redesign the employee experience and talent mobility. Again, we'll drop a link in the comments. So we took a bit of a rest day on Thanksgiving. Again, 90-minute event, kind of challenging, not too easy to produce. It went super, super awesome. So I'm super grateful. Thank you so much to our team who worked on that. And we took a little break. So Thanksgiving, we had some time off, spent some time with our families. Some of us watched a little American football. Some of us ate some delicious food. And I see Maggie, also from Philly, jumping into the chat. Maggie, welcome to the show. And that brings us to today's icebreaker question. So today's question is, what is your least favorite Thanksgiving side dish? Now, initially, it was going to be your most favorite. But our team here at Phenom, our marketing team, we decided to throw a wrench into the mix. We want to know what your least favorite Thanksgiving side dish is. So that is today's icebreaker question. If you're tuning in on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, drop in the comments what your least favorite Thanksgiving side dish is. I'll tell you mine right now. I'm going to have to say any type of sweet potato casserole that isn't just plain old sweet potatoes. Like I am a straight up, give me just mashed sweet potatoes and nothing else in it. I don't want any marshmallows in it. I don't want any nuts in it. I just want sweet potatoes. And when you start doctoring it up with too much stuff, turns me off a little bit. I don't want that on my plate. So favorite, sweet potatoes. Least favorite, sweet potatoes with too much junk and garbage in it. So let me know what your favorite is as well. Johanna is saying cranberry sauce. It's a tie for Maggie between stuffing and cranberry sauce. Sarah says sweet potato casserole as well. Yes, I agree with all of these things. I remember growing up as a kid, we had the cranberry sauce in the can, and it just like plopped out of the can, and it made that super disgusting noise, the very circular, and it always kind of had that shape. Um, yeah, we have gizzards. Oh, no, thank you on the gizzards. Becky says her family always makes coleslaw. Ew. Yeah, lot of good least favorites. Well, I'm hoping that you had a safe and happy and healthy Thanksgiving, and I hope that you have so many things to be thankful for, just as we do here. And I hope you had some of your favorite meals and side dishes as well. So, as I mentioned, we had this event last Tuesday. So today, what we're going to do, we have a full session from that event that we recorded with Ashley Blackmore. Ashley is the director of North America Talent Acquisition and Operations at Newell Brands. So you will definitely recognize some of Newell Brands' brands. They have Rubbermaid, Coleman, Sharpie, Yankee Candle, one of my favorites, especially around the holidays, right? So we were supposed to kick off this season, this employee experience season of Talent Experience Live with Ashley back in November, but we had to reschedule. And that was kind of last minute. So Ashley was incredibly awesome, and she joined us for our Experience Phenom event last week. We loved that session so much that we're going to, and we're so impressed with Ashley. We've done so much with her and Newell in the past. The way that they are innovating and the pace at which they innovate just blows us away. So we're always having Ashley back to talk about these things. We wanted to re-air that session. So today, we are going to re-air the session from last week with Ashley. It is conversational, just like any other Talent Experience Live. It is Thursday, December 1st, 12:07 p.m. Eastern on my side. So this is live. If you're watching this live, it's live. I'm in the chat. Don't hesitate, even though this is a pre-recorded segment. Don't hesitate. Comment, ask questions, converse, have fun. I would love for the chat to continue to remain lively. You can keep talking about turnips and gizzards and coleslaw if you'd like, or comments on Ashley's amazing content. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Ashley. I'm super excited to welcome one of our friends here at Phenom, one of our amazing customers, Ashley Blackmore, who is the director of North America Talent and Operations at Newell Brands. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Ashley, we've had you on so many programs in the past here at Phenom. You are definitely one of our most awesome advocates, and you've been definitely involved in creating a lot of amazing content with us. So I know Newell Brands, obviously, and I know some of the amazing brands that you represent. But for our viewers, could you give us the quick elevator pitch on Newell and some of the awesome brands that you represent?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have 100 plus brands, and we have 29,000 employees globally. We had in 2021 about 10.6 billion in sales. I know when people hear Newell Brands, they're like, what is that? But think of Sharpie, Crock-Pot, Marmot, Coleman. It's a Yankee Candle, wide range of great consumer products that fall under the Newell Brands umbrella.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't leave out Yankee Candle because we have holidays coming up, and those are my go-to. Those are my go-to when I can't think of the perfect gift for some of those relatives I only see.
We've got new scents coming out for the holiday, so we'll have you all ready.
I'm excited. So could you walk us through kind of what your current role is today as director at Newell?
Yes. So my current role definitely has multi layers to it. So Director of North America Talent Acquisition. So I'm responsible for the recruiting team that we have in North America. Our team right now is about 28 individuals. So we also manage our contingent workforce. So that is all of our temps throughout the organization. I manage campus recruitment. We have a large intern program. Last year we had about 160 interns. And I manage our interview scheduling and that team as well. But my big focus and passion is obviously on this side. So the operations side, everything that's behind the scenes with recruiting, all of our talent branding, all of our systems, how they're integrated, and really how we can continuously improve and be at the top of the game with HR tech is really kind of my passion area. So that's a big part of my role.
Yeah, and working closely with you and kind of observing a lot of the awesome things that Newell has done over the past couple of years since I joined Phenom. That concept of continuous improvement and
Yes.
evolution has really shined at Newell. So it's been awesome to watch you and your team and Newell on that journey. What are some of the ways that you felt your role specifically has
Mhm.
evolved, over the years? Because so much in
Yeah.
talent acquisition has been evolving.
It's very true. Mine has changed greatly because I actually started out in an ops role that I was truly focused on solely ops. So then moving into this position, it's actually been about a year and a half now, really getting more involved with the recruiting team so that I can continuously improve, make the products better for them, make their jobs easier. Also, really diving into what talent are looking for in this really insane market. I've been in recruiting for 20 years now, and it's just no one's ever seen it. I know everyone says that. I hate hearing unprecedented, but it is. And so just learning how to shift. We've had to all shift our roles, how we operate, how we go to market, how are we attracting talent. And with that, what's been great about partnering with Phenom is everything that we've looked at from the individuals at Phenom bringing me ideas and bringing me information is always huge. I've also been connected with other partners so that I can talk to them, see what they're doing. How are they operating in certain areas? We have, speaking of Yankee, we have retail hourly, which is a very different recruiting process. So was able to connect with some other customers in that area. But also too, how can our team shift to, again, market ourselves differently? So with that too, how do we also focus on our internal voice, our internal employees, and make it authentic? Because we've had a focus on our internals, I would say consistently. But when you look at the great reshuffle that we went through, as well as people looking at what they may want to do differently, the great thing about Newell is you can make it happen. We have so many different brands, as I mentioned, and divisions that you can move in between. You can also move between functions. But how do you make that easy? For our internal employees? How do you make that be all in one place? And so employee experience for us has been my main focus really over the past year, I would say. We implemented, it's been, I think, close to 2 years now, but how can we bring out and make job alerts better? So we worked very closely with the development team with you guys to put our input there and how we can improve. We have just went through kind of an update of the entire internal site. How can we market referrals better? How can we, make our internals more aware of opportunities that are out there globally? When you have 29,000 employees, it's hard to kind of get your mind around how do we do this? How do we make it constantly visible so that they know the opportunities exist and that they can go after them, that they can talk to their managers and they should feel comfortable talking to their managers about new opportunities. So that's been also a shift to where for a while it was a huge focus on external and getting as many external talent as we can to a shift of how do we make our internals a focus and how do we make sure they're engaged and that they are able to see opportunities within Newell. Also implementing and adding, we've had ERGs the entire time I've been at Newell, 13 plus years, but how do we also bring that into internal mobility and how do we add that into our engagement and make that more an open area for people to bring their authentic selves to work, which has also been a huge focus for me as well.
Yeah, I you don't often see that shift in thinking and prioritization from the talent acquisition team. So I always love to see
Sure.
it. It really delights me when I see talent
Yeah.
acquisition teams and talent acquisition leaders such as yourself thinking more operationally and holistically about the end-to-end talent journey and
Yeah.
the benefits that reaps as you start to invest more in your internal employees. So before implementing and really focusing on optimizing your employee experience and your internal talent marketplace, how were your internal employees discovering jobs? What did that experience look like?
Yeah.
Obviously, you felt there was room for improvement and you improved
Yeah.
it, but what was it? Can you walk us through kind of
Sure.
how internals were discovering jobs?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, which is why I kind of went for, all in, right? As much as I could get out of the product. Before it was just through our ATS. And it was basically, I called it a data dump. It was a very boring page that just had all the jobs listed. It did have referral bonus listed. It had recruiter name. You could search by location, business unit, but again, just very limited, and also just not exciting whatsoever. And it really was just a true place to go and see the job and apply. That's all you're getting out of that experience. And so with that, you could also sign up for job alerts, so that, obviously if you signed up for a certain function you were interested in, or if you were interested in a location, you would get an email as soon as we posted that role. However, those didn't always work. And they were not accurate. So we'd have analysts getting director level roles, for example. And so the technology, unfortunately, just was not great, right? So as soon as I saw you guys were offering internal mobility as a product, EX as a product, I jumped right on it for that very reason, because we really didn't have a great way of getting it out there before.
And once your internal employees kind of discover those open roles, what's the application process like, from applying within kind of your
Yep.
talent marketplace, your employee experience?
What's great is I believe I've got it down to like a 3-click process.
Beautiful.
So the easiest thing is, and what we encourage everyone obviously is to go in and create your profile first thing. Definitely to sign up for job alerts. And once you've done that, it's so easy. It truly is a couple clicks of a process, feeds over into our ATS. And then from there, we just move on with our own internal process that we have for internals. So definitely tried to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I love when the technology gets out of the way, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yes.
the goal, right? Technology
Yeah.
should get out of the way,
Yeah.
especially when the employee has discovered the role, gets excited about the
Mhm.
role. You want to make it as in as few clicks as possible.
Yeah.
I know there's other hurdles, right, to really getting
Mhm.
internal mobility kind of off the ground. I know in
Yeah.
some organizations there's a bit of red tape. Maybe there's a culture of
Mhm.
talent hoarding where managers don't want their employees to discover new roles. They
Mhm.
don't want their
Yep.
internal recruiters reaching out to internal employees,
Mhm.
and it creates kind of this discord or this dissonance
Mhm.
culturally. So
Yep.
I'm curious, if you can talk through. Did you encounter a little bit of that at Newell? And if you did, what are some of the ways or that you handled it, or ways
Mhm.
that you tried to improve that? I think this is helpful for anybody who's listening, where that's the culture they're living in today,
Yeah.
and everything sounds great, and they want to dive in, but they
Right.
realize that's a potential roadblock.
Yeah. And I think I had the benefit, because I was a recruiter for so long at Newell, of hearing the internal voice, and kind of that very thing. Like, my manager's holding me back. They I approached them about an opportunity, but I'm on a project. So, I can't move on. And when that happens, you tend to lose the employee. So with that, we have a pretty strong internal process in place, as far as we have internal eligibility guidelines. So internals know when it's appropriate for them to apply for roles, as well as to have that discussion with their manager first. And so we've put a process in place, but as you said, change management and getting this information out is key. We have hired about 4,000 people in the past 2 years. And so that's a ton of new managers, a ton of new employees that we then need to also get the message out of: this is our culture. We want to encourage internal movement. And by doing that, we want to have an openness between divisions, between all of our businesses and brands, and provide that opportunity so that individuals don't feel like, okay, I can only work within the food business unit. I can't move over to writing if I have interest there. So we've really tried to communicate it. And we partnered actually very closely with corporate communications. I actually did a podcast on it, just to bring awareness to the site, as well as the availability of roles and movement, and that you're able to move. So I think that's key, is getting your key stakeholders, as well as your leaders of HR, very engaged in how we want to approach it as a culture of Newell. How do we want internals to feel? How do we want them to be able to make a move? And once we've done that, you kind of heard those conversations start to stop, as far as being held back into a role. When I started, the culture it was a much smaller organization. We were Newell Rubbermaid at the time. And so it was a much easier discussion of moving between businesses, moving between functions of, for example, different functions within supply chain, going from demand planning to purchasing, or whatever it is. It was much more, I think, a normal occurrence where people saw it all the time. And then we've had several shifts in leadership. So it's kind of a rebranding almost each time, which, yes, can be frustrating, but also necessary. So I think it is having the right discussions and what's in it for me. What are the benefits? I know a hiring manager never wants to lose someone that's a very strong performer, but also you want to, because that performer, you want them to continue to stay at Newell, not leave. So that has truly been kind of the focus that we've tried to put is if we don't provide them these opportunities internally, you're just going to lose them as an employee regardless. So we'd rather have them stay at Newell.
Yeah, and I think it really shows the commitment to the employee. They feel it.
Yes. Yeah.
And when the technology is working in their favor as well, you mentioned earlier, previously maybe they were seeing irrelevant roles, roles that they weren't
Yes.
quite ready for or fit for.
Mhm.
Now with newer technology, they're seeing those relevant roles. They're seeing the best fit
Correct.
roles based on their
Yes.
skills, based on their experience, and that's super
Mhm.
helpful. They feel that commitment. What are some of the results that you've started to see, over the
Yep.
past year, 2 years that you've really rolled out this red carpet experience for
Yep.
employees?
Yep. It is. I have really found that we definitely have to consistently communicate about it, right? We did a large launch, right? And really put a big focus on it. But what's been helpful is to have continued discussion about it. So what has been very exciting to see, I would say when I was recruiting, it was honestly a rarity that I would have internals apply. The hiring manager, first question, do we have any internals for the position? We weren't able to answer that question. So now we are able to look and view our internals. We are still working with our talent team actually on a process of, yes, we today as recruiters do not poach internals. So we don't go out and have those discussions first. We prefer the hiring manager have that discussion. So we are still in process of putting together a really set cadence of how that's going to work going forward. However, I have seen a significant increase in all of our internal applies. I can't remember the number from the last time I looked, but it was significant, going from basically maybe getting a handful to having hundreds. Also, we've had hundreds of referrals as well, which has been amazing to see, as well as our retention has increased and continued to increase since putting in the platform. So as you know, I'm an analytics data nerd, so I'm in there all the time. So just seeing all of these areas continue to move and hearing people on my team saying we've had so much more internal interest in opportunities where we have maybe 7 internals for a director opening. That's something we did not have in the past. So it's definitely working.
Yeah, and I know that we've recently featured Newell in a case study.
Yep.
We really appreciate you sharing your story and sharing some of those
Mhm.
analytics. And I remember reading one stat that just blew me away, which
Yeah.
was your recruiters were able to fill, roles that typically took maybe 45 days to fill.
Yes.
When internal candidates were coming through, they'd be able to fill them sometimes in 5 days, which I just
Yes.
thought was incredible.
Yep. Yep. That was a major shift, which obviously was great to see. We can fill a role if we know the internal, we know they're a great fit. Yes, 5 days, or maybe 2 weeks. And where, yes, before, of course, a lot of the roles that we've had that have been pretty technical or specific, you're looking at a 45 to 60-day fill. So definitely very refreshing when we've been able to close, especially a lot of higher level roles. Which is what you want to see, right? People continuing to move up in the organization. So being able to fill those internally is definitely a great story.
Yeah, and you mentioned referrals a couple of times throughout the
Mhm.
conversation. I know, again, referrals is another amazing way to kind of fill that pipeline with high quality candidates. They
Yes.
already have some, familiarity with the brand, some
Hmm.
familiarity with the culture,
Yep.
and the referrer wouldn't refer that
Hmm.
person if they didn't think they were a good fit, because there's some
Right.
some kind of trust in that
Hmm.
exchange as well too. Do you have any best practices that you've discovered kind of rolling out and nurturing your referral program?
Yes. So something we've tried to take advantage of, obviously, is the marketing campaigns that we use so much with our talent community, but we've been using them more and more internally. So, for example, one of our business units, we had quite a bit open within automation, right? This is a big area within most companies right now. So we are competing against tons of different organizations, multiple offers, et cetera. So we actually raised our referral bonus specifically for that business unit. And then we were able to market that out internally through the system. We've got TV monitors up throughout all of our office locations. So we marketed it on the monitors. Also to making sure they knew that they could go directly through our EX platform and be able to very quickly refer a candidate to a role. We are also going to be starting some contest as well in the new year that we will look at who will refer maybe the most within Q1 is something that we're thinking, and we will have product giveaways. So trying to make it more of a competition because that is a lot of people at Newell are very results oriented and driven individuals that love a contest. So and we definitely, once we increase that bonus, saw an increase. So whenever we do that, we usually try to focus on tough to fill roles, or if we have certain initiatives that are going on within the organization, and when can we do that? When can we increase it or make it different to bring attraction to it? I also say good people know good people. So I have actually done quite a few lunch and learns this year to focus on that, to focus on referrals, to focus on how you yourself can work on your internal brand, how you can, show yourself so that, like you said, your network is seeing it so that you're getting more referrals and they're curious about what you're doing and about the organization. So we've also encouraged our employees to post more on LinkedIn, for example, just to get more out there about the organization so that people know who we are and that we can then bring additional individuals into the organization. We also are going to start looking at creating an alumni site as well so that we can work to try to get referrals possibly externally. That's a little hint upcoming. Haven't done it yet, but something that we've thought about too. That could be another great way. We have a lot of people that have left that still love to hear about what's going on at Newell, and possibly have great referrals since they know the organization well.
Yeah, and I think one of the benefits, you touched on this when you were talking about keeping referrals top of mind and promoting referrals, especially for some of those hard to fill roles, is once you have that talent marketplace, once you have that alumni site, you have all these contacts in your CRM. So you're able to proactively or automatically through automation send the right message to them at the right time. In addition to promoting referrals and also having your employees set up job alerts, are there any other unique or interesting ways you've really tapped into campaigns or the ability to send emails to your employees?
We did actually a competition for just social media, right? Just trying to get people to get out there, post. But the first thing we did actually was more setting up your profile and the benefits of setting up your profile and send it just to every internal employee. It's so easy with the CRM. And we also have set up a calendar. So we will, because we're such a global organization and people are pretty siloed within their business units, we've done new product launches, just so people can kind of see the latest and greatest that's come out. Also, if there's been anything from corporate communications, if they put together a video or, something that's been going on with innovation, that's something else we will send out. So just trying to kind of keep the company informed. It's such an easy way within the CRM. And to be able to and just filter it by internals and create a list. So it really has been very beneficial with things that have been going on within the organization, which is ever changing. And so I think too, going into next year, we will start looking at different ways that we can use it too, especially with our ERGs, because we have, our ERGs set up within our talent community as well. We have the calendar on there to make it interactive so everyone can see what's going on with the different ERGs as well. But I think we have a lot more that we could do there when it comes to internal marketing.
Awesome. As we begin to wrap things up, one question that I have too, we've acknowledged this here at Phenom. Your talent marketplace or your employee experience is only effective if your employees are coming back, right?
Yes.
They're logging in. They're experiencing that visibility of those open opportunities. They're connecting with others through ERGs. So what are some of the ways that you've really tried to boost engagement and boost adoption of the platform to make sure that they're not just setting up their profile once and then, it's just another thing they have to log into, but there's some incentive, there's some reason to come back and drop in?
Yep. So some things that we've been doing is really focusing, as I said, more on ERGs and really creating a community. I know there's going to be some future capabilities as well where we'll be able to post specific roles within those ERGs that I'm looking forward to. But also just we've used it for events and hiring events to help out some of, for example, Retail Hourly, Yankee Candle. They have a flagship store. So how can we help them? We actually use the internal platform just to market the information if people wanted to send it out to their networks. But some other things too, I think is we are pretty good, I would say, about trying to keep the content fresh consistently. I love the AI, of course. When you log in, there's going to be usually something new and a new job recommendation in there for you, as well as we are about to start a mentor trial with one of our BUs. So I feel like once we get that in there and people start realizing the type of communication that you can have within the tool, I think we'll see even more interaction. Also, we're looking at coffee chats and how do we set that up. So I think with again, kind of going into the new year based off how much we've done this year, I think we will have more communication throughout the tool, which of course will bring people back in.
Awesome. You've already teased, my next question, which was, what's next, for Newell
Yeah.
and Newell's employee experience. You've been teasing out certain things throughout the whole
Yeah.
conversation, which is amazing, right? So, coffee chats,
Mm-hmm.
mentoring, starting to really build up ERGs with some new
Yep.
functionality. Of all the things that you mentioned throughout the conversation, is there anything uh, particularly that is exceptionally exciting for you that you're really looking forward to getting that pilot out or getting users to start engaging with?
I think for me, definitely the mentor trial, to be honest. We have been working off spreadsheets, right? Very manual. I used to call it like a dating process. You're like matching people based on what their interests are, right? Feels kind of weird, like you're almost setting up a date. So I'm excited to see what the mentor tool is going to do and how active everyone will be in the system. And so that I think is going to encourage, as I said, with us being so segmented, global, different business units, being able to have a mentor in another segment of the world or in another business unit, I think will go such a long way, as well as being able to reach out just to other individuals that maybe you see that that's the hiring manager of the role, but you don't want to talk to them yet, but you maybe want to talk to someone on their team. The fact that you can search employees in there and reach out and have open discussions and dialogue really is exciting to me, as well as really the ERG communities as well. I think there's so much that you can get out of an ERG, especially from internal and external recruiting purposes, that we can be using better, right? And utilizing it more. And I've tried to really be involved in having kind of chats or fireside chats with our ERGs so they can see how they can kind of help within the recruiting process, because we want our ERGs, for example, out on campus. So to help with campus recruiting, get people excited, know that they can come in and truly bring themselves to work. So I think we have a lot more that we can do, and that's what I'm looking forward to for sure. And Phenom always has something out of their back pocket, I feel, that they'll pull out, and I usually want it. So that probably will happen too.
Yes, yes, and we've
Yeah.
announced some new things today, so hopefully you'll get excited about
Excellent.
those
Yeah.
things as well too, and we'll be excited to dig deeper and understand how we can implement some of the awesome stuff coming up with Newell.
Great.
You've been an amazing partner for Phenom. You've been an amazing customer, so thank you so much. Really appreciate
Thank
your time
you.
today. Any final thoughts, before we really wrap up today?
I appreciate it. As you can tell, I also love you guys and have loved the product and what we've been able to do with it. So very excited to hear about all the new stuff.
Well, everything that you've done at Newell really reinforces your commitment to your employees, right? Your commitment to inclusion, your commitment to belonging, to making opportunities available for all. We really appreciate the spirit of that. And I love that you do it in alignment with the operational goals and the objectives of Newell as a business. It's when those two
Mhm.
things collide, that
Yep.
you really start to see these amazing benefits, not just for the individual employees that work at Newell, and their ability to stay and grow. But
Yes.
for Newell to continue to do what you do and do it amazing with amazing people. So love to see it. Always, again, your success is always evolving. I feel like we're always touching base with you because you're always doing new and interesting things and seeing some amazing success there. So thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
we'll look forward to the next conversation because I'm sure this won't
Yes.
be the last.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, looking forward
Yep.
to it as well. Thank you as always.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Another amazing Talent Experience Live conversation in the books. Really appreciated that. I thought that that was such a great overview and a deep dive into some of the amazing stuff that they're doing at Newell. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining us on Talent Experience Live. Thank you, of course, to Ashley for sharing her journey and her experience. And I just want to say, if you enjoyed this deep dive into how an organization is just absolutely crushing it, crushing talent mobility and experience redesign. We've got a great follow up event for you to check out, and that's going to be next week. So if you're watching this live, it's going to be on Tuesday, December 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We are hosting a live fireside chat diving into how healthcare insurance leader Cigna has been prioritizing their employees' growth by moving towards a skills-based organization. And I've been reading so much about this. I'm sure you've heard about this. Anybody who went to HR Tech, they came back and they told me all about it. It's skills, skills, skills. Everyone's talking about becoming a skills-based organization, and Cigna is well on their way in that journey. And they will talk about on this fireside chat kind of how they have made internal opportunities more visible, more actionable, and more impactful for all stakeholders involved, especially employees. Our CHRO here at Phenom, Jess Elmquist, will be joined by Cigna's Effie Geikis. She is the Senior Director of Enterprise Talent Enablement. And we will also be joined by industry analysts and thought leader, none other than Josh Burson. Super excited to have him on this upcoming chat to really dive into global trends in talent mobility. Josh has so much expertise and research here that he'll jump into global trends and employee experience. And then we'll start to unravel and tell the story of Cigna's journey, how they're using skills intelligence and a talent marketplace to really evolve their workforce. So if you're interested in this, again, it's going to be on Tuesday, December 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will drop a link in the chat so that you can save your spots, or you can head on over to phenom.com. Head over to the webinar section, and it is the featured webinar today. I want to give a shout out to our video producer, Justin Devitt. He is behind the scenes. He is pulling all the knobs, pressing all the buttons, making things happen. Thank you, Justin. I want to give a shout out to Jen. Shout out to Maggie. Shout out to Andy. Everybody on the Phenom team who makes this show possible every single week. And with that, we'll be back next week. We'll have Devin Foster back on the show. Everyone's favorite TXL host. He'll be back to wrap up this particular season, and we will talk about what is next for Talent Experience Live. Thank you so much for joining. Have a fantastic continuation to your week. Enjoy the weekend. So much to be thankful for, and I will see you next week.